Good morning everybody, Miss N here again with a follow-up to yesterday's place value tutorial in maths. So today we're going to look at some addition, which applies your place value skills, but it is also one of the fundamentals for maths as you'll go further up the school. So certainly if you can do this properly and you can do it well, it'll stand you in good stead for other things. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now you'll see over here that I've set up a very simple two-digit calculation. So two-digit number, add a two-digit number. And you can see that I have put tens and ones above my columns. This is just to help you line up your columns correctly. It's very, very important when we're doing addition or subtraction or any formal calculation that it's laid out correctly because it avoids errors. So, very, very simply, as always, as you already know, you always start on the right-hand side of a calculation. I avoid saying you start in the ones column because when you progress to things like decimals or adding money, it's not always a ones column. It might be a tenths or a hundredths and so on. So we start with the right-hand side. So, very simply, 6 add 1, we know is 7. Now, the common misconception here is to treat this as 3 add 2, which is what it looks like, but from a place value point of view, what we are actually adding is 30 and 20. So it's important when you're talking to children about addition that you're using the correct terms, the correct numbers. So it might be simpler to treat it as 3 add 2, but you need to get into the habit, certainly, of saying, well, actually that is 30 add 20, which we know equals 50. Okay? So far, no difficulty. When it becomes a little bit trickier is when we have to start to carry. And we have to start to carry tens, okay? So if you look at the calculation over here, what I've got is 9 add 1 in my ones column. Now we all know that that equals 10, but I can't do this. That's not correct. So, something I found helpful to do with children who find this concept a little bit tricky is to write it, up here. Okay, a little bit dodgy as you can see, but what that tells me is essentially what's going to go where. So you can see here, I've written tens and ones again. I've got a 0 in my ones column, so that's exactly what I'm going to put in my calculation. And then that 10, I'm going to cross that off because I've used it, and that 10 is what gets carried underneath. And then you can very easily solve the rest of the calculation. 40 add 30 is 70. Don't forget to add in the extra 10. Gives us 80. Very straightforward. Now, I've got two calculations down here, which you are welcome to have a go at, and I will go through in a moment. So I'll give you a chance to get your paper, get yourself sorted, write those down. You can always pause me and have a go at them yourself, and then look at how I go through your answers. So, feel free to pause, or I'm just going to carry on. So you'll see in my ones column here, I've got 4 add 7. Now, we all know that 4 add 7 equals 11. Exactly what I did before. If I come down here, write my tens and ones, write 11 down here, I can see already that I'm going to put a 1 in my ones column. I'm going to carry that 10 underneath my tens column. 70 add 20 is 90. Well, I've been a bit naughty here because I haven't got a hundreds column. Add the 10 is going to equal 101. Okay, moving swiftly on to over here, I've got 86 add 15. Now, 6 add 5, again, we know is 11. So I'm going to come down here, write it here. I'm going to cross off that 1 that I'm going to put in my ones column. I'm going to carry that 10 underneath. I know that 80 add 10 is 90. Add another 10 is 100. Imagine that my hundreds column is there. Oh, I've managed another 101 again. Okay, I'm just going to turn my board around and have a quick look at 3-digit, which we do treat much in the same way. I'm actually going to change colours. I'm just going to tilt that lightly so we can see what's happening. There we go. So coming over here, again, be very, very careful of your layout. I find that writing H, T and O above your calculation helps you line it up. If you've got squared paper that you can do your maths on, even better, but if not, do your best to line it up correctly. So looking over here, we've got 3 add 7, you know is 10. Okay. All right, now I haven't done my helpful thing at the bottom, but you can do it if you want to. Again, because we're in our tens column, 40 add 30, add the extra 10 is going to be 80. Okay, and then in the hundreds column, treat them as hundreds. So 100 add 200 is 300. Okay. Coming over here, or actually you can probably have a go at that one yourself. Again, if you want to pause me at any point and have a go, please do. But moving swiftly on, we've got 4 add 8. So if I do my helpful hint this time, squish it in at the bottom here. So we know 4 add 8 is 12. We know that that 2 needs to go in the ones column. We know that I'm running out of space, so I'm going to have to scribble that out. And we know that we carry our 10. 60 add 20 is 80. Add in that 10 and cross it off to give us 90. 200 add 300 is 500. Okay. Now coming to these bottom ones here, what you'll find is that I've done something a little bit different. So we're not having to carry anything from the ones column. Instead, well, let's see what happens, shall we? So ones column, very straightforward. 6 add 3, you know, is 9. Okay, where it gets a little bit trickier, 80 add 20. Now you'll know from your number bonds how to work that out. If you know what 8 add 2 is, you certainly can do what 80 add 20. We know is 100. Now exactly the same principle that I showed you before, the same little helpful hint, works for this column as for the tens column. So we know, if I scooch it in down here, very badly, we know that that's what, oh, let me draw that again because that looks terrible with Neuburger. So we know that 100 looks like this. Yeah? So we know we've already got something in the ones column, so we can rule that out. We know that there's going to be a 0 in that tens column and that that 100 is going to be the thing that carries over, or the digit that carries over. So here we have 100 add 400, cross off that extra 100 to add it in, gives us 500. Okay, coming over here, again, if you want to pause and have a go at this one yourself before I go through it, you're free to do so. Okay, and finally over here, 2 add 4 gives us 6. 70 add 80. Oh, having to think here. Right, okay. So that, if I come back over here, I will invest in a board rubber. Coming back here, we know is 150. Hoping my mental maths is correct there. So we've already got something in the ones column, so we can cross that off. We know that that 5 is going to go in the tens column, and that 100 is going to carry under here. So that leaves us with 400 add 200, which we know is 600. Add in the final 100, gives us 756. Now, I have dushed through that quite quickly, so feel free to watch this video again at your leisure, pausing where you need to, and if there are any questions, I will find a way to make sure I can answer those. Also, any ideas for videos that you would like to see as well, please let me know, or let LetsLocalise know, and we can make that happen for you. Okay.